Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, before we start, let me do an introduction. For those who don't know me, my name is Antipotion. I'm a self taught product engineer. I learned software engineering with the goal of building products, tools, and systems that solve real problems. In these live streams, you'll see me work through the entire product development process, from exploring ideas and designing solutions to implementing features and refining the user experience. I'll also be sharing the constraints, trade offs, and considerations that influence the decisions made along the way. The goal isn't just to build software, but to make the thinking behind the software visible. So, I am also building a community. If you are interested, you can join the link in the bottom left of the screen. I have also it on the description. So, for today's streams, the objectives are to research the material design layout, refine and apply the ideas that we get from that research to TaskGate, reuse existing components to utilize empty spaces, and to revise the routing architecture and view philosophy for TaskGate. So these problems were discovered from the previous live stream when we were refining the UI and UX for TaskGate. So before we move to those objectives, I would also like to explain TaskGate, a brief overview of it, so that we are aligned and that we have the same understanding and assumptions of the product. So TaskGate is an app that was made specifically to enforce explicit workflow progression, where tasks advance through verifiable submissions rather than ambiguous status changes. So that's the let me first fix this. Alright, let me explain TaskGate again. So TaskGate was developed to enforce explicit workflow progression where tasks advance through the verifiable submissions rather than ambiguous status changes. So here is an example workflow of TaskGate. So first you log into the app and then you go to Teams, and then you either add or join one. Let's try adding. So this is my new team. So now you have a team, right? In a team, you can share and leave back to the project dashboards. After you're inside the project dashboard, you can only create a project once you're inside a team. So this is a new project. You can put the description here. The start date and deadline are optional. The intent here is that so you can add a project without actually starting it. For instance, if you are planning stuff like that. So you either leave it blank or put a date here. And then you choose the team. This is why creating a team first or joining one is an essential requirement to create a project. So you choose a team, the team we just created, then create the project. Now you're inside the project here. As you can see here, you have the project name, the status, the project health, or the deadline pressure. Then here is the name of the owner. The full name of the account that I am currently using is this one. I am manager. Here in the project overview, you can see the project description, the start date, deadline. The project metrics right now is not functional, and here is where the core workflow of TaskGate is in the task board. So after you have the project, you can now create a task, new task. In here you can add a description. Here's a new task, and you can either add a date or not. The date here is also optional. The assign to right now is not functional, but the intent here is to choose a member of the team to which you can assign it to. After you create the task, you now have one task in the task board. This is the new task that we created. So the task here, the task board, is essentially a representation of the task state machine that enforces the rules of the task workflow. Inside the new task, you can ignore this spinner for right now. It needs to be fixed. Alright, inside the task, you have the title of the task that you just created. The task starts at the do. Ignore the green right now, it's not functional yet. Inside the task, you also have the task description and the start date and end date. Here you have the actions that the task that you can do based on the status of the task here. So for instance, if you want to start the task, you can just click the start button here. I need to use the localhost one because this is currently not updated. Give me a second. So that's that. This was the same account that we used on the previous script. So the back end of this was Firebase. So this is persisted to the cloud. Now if we enter the project, we now have a task here that is in progress since we started it, and the project is now in progress. So the task is also in progress. Now here is where the problem statement is solved, you can only submit a task once you submit a URL, a link to the output that you have. For instance, if I have here a link like that and I add it, now the submit progress can be done. You can submit however many links you want right here. And so after that, as you notice here in the status badge, it is currently in progress, right? So now when you submit progress, it creates a review. Now the review here is in review. It shows the submitted by, who submitted the review, and the reviewer, the owner of the project. Right now, currently for testing purposes, the task state machine has not yet been integrated with the permission model of the app. So right here, you have the resources, the links that we just added. And in the comments here, you can send a comment. I am sending a comment in which you can see immediately. This is happening in real time. After that, as you also notice, once the process is in review, if you go back, the task status is also in review. And you can view here in the review list the review that you just made. After entering it again, as you have more discussions, here the project owner, the reviewer, can either approve or reject. Now these buttons can only be viewed by the manager after the permission model is integrated into the state machine. So when a reviewer rejects it, you'll see that the task status is now rejected. The task action is now in resume. The task state machine handles these progressions and ensures that no invalid actions can be done, and the workflow follows the intended process. In the review list, you can see here the status of the review that was just rejected. You can review the status. Now once it is rejected or approved, it is now only a read-only mode. You cannot edit it. It is basically immutable. After that, once the user resumes, the task now begins as the task now transitions as in progress. The same workflow in the in progress, where you can submit your output. Submit your output here, your output. And then you can submit the progress again, and it will create a new review. In the review here, after some discussions, the project owner or the reviewer can now either approve or reject. Once the review is approved, you can see that the task is now approved. The review list has been updated here, and there are no more actions that can be done. Now, this architecture, this business rule has a relationship that it follows. But before that, notice that in the done task that has just been approved is now in the done category, and the project has been completed, since this is the only task. But if you add a task here, another task, and we save, it comes back to in progress since there is a new task there. Also, in the project overview here in the upper left, if you added a date here, for instance, the start date is today and the end date is 3 days from now. The deadline pressure badge or the project health is now showing healthy. Now the algorithm used here is rather simplified, but the concept is that it takes the duration of the project and then based on a percentage, it showcases the health or how close the project is to the deadline. For instance, if we move it to this one, you can see that it is now overdue. There's quite a, I'd say, at least 4 levels of progression for this, which can only be showcased once you have a somewhat long timeline or a much more granular, how do you call this, progression towards the end date. Nevertheless, as you see here, as I mentioned before, there is a ownership rules that is implemented to this app. I mentioned a while ago that it is essential to have a team first before creating a project, because the project is shown only to the team. As you notice here, we have the new project that we created under this is my new team, right? So let me click this share so I can have the ID which we'll be using. Now I will be leaving this team. Once I click the leave, as you can see, the project that we just created is now lost. It's not lost, but rather we cannot see it anymore because we do not belong to the team. So the ID that I just copied, the team ID, can be used here to join the team. Once I join the team is now back and I can see the project again. So that's basically the idea of the whole app right now on its implementation. So those are the things that we are dealing with when designing the UI and revising the architecture of the routing and the view philosophy. Because the current problem of this implementation, as you notice, that it is a screen by screen. As you move to one screen to another, it replaces the older ones. However, when designing on the previous streams, as you notice here, the screens that we created, as more screen state is added, there are more and more white space prominent that is unused, and it looks somewhat horrible. We know that the app is still in development, but we don't want to push the concept that it is lacking, face to face. We somehow want it to be sufficient, or at least perceived as something that has a flesh. Some idea here, which I mentioned, the material design, is to use some concepts here. So in the material design layout, there are these guides here that we can implement which we can use for the app. Alright, so here we can use the top bar as well because we already have one. We are implementing it. And I'll also be considering these rails here because I think it is somewhat usable to represent the projects and the teams for wider screens. After that, we will also be applying these two paints here, this layout, the master detail layout. I am planning to add this because we can utilize some of the components that we already have, and also since they have a relationship together that follows those layouts, we can utilize it to better fill up the screen and also make it intuitive that these entities have relationships, and also that it is much easier to navigate. However, the thing that I mentioned a while ago regarding the routing implementation, the current one, the assumptions behind it is to navigate screen by screen. You see, as I enter elements, the screen is replaced one at a time, which violates the design that we are going to do, since it will be using a master detail layout, which means that a screen, the master screen, is still in view when the details screen is visible, or when the details is shown. So with that in mind, we are now going first to design the master detail layout for this, and then later discuss how we are going to solve that problem. So in here, working in the project dashboard first, my idea is to add a rail. How many? What's the size of the rail here? There should be I'm looking for the rail. This one here. You're going to use that. So let's create a copy first. Grab the rail and make some space here. I'm checking where it is. Inherited. Nested, I mean. So we can add it there. Group these two here and make the project dashboard horizontal. Put this first. So that's that. We need to edit this a bit. Where is it? Right. Put this on the top. Reduce the padding of the top. 20, 0, just like that. Now it has some flash, right? This is quite alright, but it doesn't really push the idea once we get to these screens here, which has, see, a lot of white space. Now I can't really fill this up because there isn't much features yet that is visible to the user when using the app. Most of it are functionalities and machineries that enforces the invariants. In here we can say create project. Now we can remove this one in the top here, just like that. We could also put here project dashboard, and here being dashboard. We can hide the label, this one. We can hide this one, hide it. There you go. Once that is done, we'll need to adjust these things here. So we have this problem now where it is overlapping with each other. The solution I am taking right now is to make it horizontal rather than vertical, right here. Instead of making it vertical, we'll make it horizontal. And then add it here. Now we can group this upper and this lower here. Right, we can group that and add some padding, no, a gap in between. I think it isn't looking right. I'll be undoing this, and then rather than grouping it to the bottom, I'll group it to the top, and then add the gap. Alright, I think that looks okay. Now we just need to decrease. Oh, no. You can use the old implementation and just adjust it for the screen sizes that are huge, that has more space. Here we can separate this. No, we can instead apply the changes we made earlier here. Right, we need to separate this. Alright, now we apply those, and then the same grouping. This one here, group the two, minimize some space, add the gap between the top and the bottom. Now we have that. Should it be at the top instead? I think it should be. Put it at the top. Let's just undo it for now. Let's just have that for now. Now we'll make this its own size here, its own, you call this component. I'll save that at the top, delete, settings here. Where's the main component? This is the main component. Need to remove this, add it back here. This is the one that I meant to keep. Let's remove the older one. Going back here, main component. Let's make this stick to the right side, left side. Like that. Once we have that, it should look better. Like so. Now we'll just have to remove this elements here and replace them with the new one, like so. Now I think that's looking much more structured. One thing we can add here to emphasize separation, since this is now having two bodies, as you see here. We have this rail on the left and the content on the right. We can separate this more by having the surface container and then a dedicated container for this one here. This frame, you can put a fill of surface lowest. Now we have that. We can add the padding 16 and then reduce the gap here to 0 so we can control it ourselves. Add the corner medium. There you go. I think we should also add the top here, or no, I don't know. Let's have that first now. The balance here is not yet quite right. As you can see, the middle has more space than the sides. You can actually fix that by reducing the gap here, like so. Now it is more balanced compared to this one on the left side. I think the right side looks much better. Right, so we also need to design the state when this is closed, because this is expandable, so this should be closed. I can't find the settings for it. We'll just grab this one, yeah, grab that, and we're going to replace this one here. Inside that, where's this? Delete that and move it to the left side. Now we have that. I can put the items you want, icons we want there. Let's name this project and this team. projects, themes, like so. Now, since this is like this, let's have this ones here fill the width and height of the container. Let's just get rid of these things for now and apply those. Duplicate this one like so, and we are going to replace it with this one. Old ones here, then duplicate this one. Yeah, I think that looks much more full. Now the next thing is to remove this themes here. It's no longer needed, like so. Also, I have an idea for this notification right here. As you can see, my idea is for this color to represent that there is no notification. When a notification arrives, it has a color now and a badge. I think it makes it more distinct for the user to distinguish whether there's a notification or not. We're also going to fix the spacing here. 4. I guess it looks much tactile, intact, or what do you call that? Much close to each other, belonging to each other. Now we also need to adjust this to have the same starting point as this one. So we're going to remove the padding at the top. Now it should be the same at this one too, making it more coherent. So this is the expanded. This is the let's just have it like that. So now compared to the left one, I think the right one is much more fuller. It has more body and it looks more pleasing and coherent. Alright, let's move on to the next size, which is a 1024 width right here. Increase this to 1024. I know that screen looks much better, right? The same as we do here. We make it width of 1024. It's not making me click though. Let me refresh. Alright, make it 1024. There you go. That looks much better. We could also make this a 3-column, right? Could do that. Let's do that for now. We have have a 3 column, just like so. This one too. That looks much more pleasing, and also it looks much more, how do I describe this? Let's just say it looks much more real. Okay, next is we have the 1280. Now I am thinking of limiting the maximum width that is supported by the responsive design, just because for now I want to limit the scope of the changes, because if we support a much more wide screen, we now have to think on the changes propagated to the next components, which could take a lot of time, and I don't think I can finish it right now, or thinking about it is costly, you know. So for now, let's stick with a full HD implementation, or just this 1280. After the project dashboard, you can now move to this theme. Also, we can highlight this one here. So let's just copy this one. Rename it to theme dashboard expanded, like so. Let's put this at the bottom to give much distinction and space. So this is the theme dashboard, right? You can have this one selected. Let me see. Select this one, and then disable the first one, like so. Now that is selected, I am also planning to redesign this theme card here. As you can see, it lacks visual punch, you know. It's too basic. You won't even know that this is a theme card at first glance, right? There's not much of a visual indication. So I am planning to have, you can grab a copy here. Let me grab a copy, like so, and edit here. Now I am thinking that we could also, now before that, in the project, let's add a, what do you call this, elevation. Now that looks much better. It now looks distinct, like something that can be clicked, which should look that way. Anyway, I'll be grabbing one copy here, and we'll be basing the design on this project card here, just to give it much visual coherence. And also this, we don't have a status for this one, so we're gonna remove the status. Excuse me. We're gonna remove those like so. Alright, we remove those. Now we need to add these settings here. We could also copy this one and paste it here inside. I want you to be inside. Where are you? Oh. So it's not tagging the content here. Hug. Okay, now we can remove sorry, now we can remove the theme and the date on that one. And then make the gap of this much less, like so. I'm thinking of also adding a icon that looks like a theme, so that we can give it a visual, to call this, we can communicate that this is a theme. Groups. Okay. Create a component. Name it groups icon. Change the color to surface variant. And now we need the icon button here. Icon button. This one. Change this to the groups icon here, and then add it to the themes. I am thinking that the themes here should have that one a visual representation of what it is. So we have the button, the icon, I mean, remove the gap here just so it looks much tighter, and then we can make the view theme here as an arrow instead. Let's add another icon. Oh no, just duplicate this one here, and then change it to arrow. First the forward, this one here, and remove the theme entirely. That way it's much more, what do you call this, concise, and also it easily fits the appearance and can be repeated many times. As you can see here, there's a huge difference between the one that we have previously and the redesigned card for the theme card, like so. You can now delete this, and then let's move this to the top. Like so. Let's import that theme card, like so, and replace the elements here. Let me duplicate first, and then plug it like that. Now the theme usually has long names, right? So I'm thinking of making it a single column instead, and have it fill the container, like so. Now we can remove these limits, remove these elements, and fill it with this one, like so. I think that's much more cleaner than this one. And then if we have the rail collapsed, we can then place that here, make it vertical, fill the space, remove these elements, remove the elements, and duplicate this one, like so. But this is also too much, I guess, or because I am thinking that we could also add on the second half here the team members, you know, but I think I'll do that here on the much bigger screen, because then there's space for both the team name to be shown as well as the members. Right? Or let's just go for that right now and just iterate if we're wrong. This is 1024. Adjusting the width. Then we can add the, what do you call this? The team members here that we have. Let me grab these elements, make a copy. Let me pull those like so. two-pane layout here. So we have this, right? We group those. No, we create a frame for it. But this guys here are separate. Alright. Wait. This is not following. Where is this one? Team name. Where's the owner of this section header? No, not that one. This one here. No, never mind. Alright, so the team here should have a frame. Now, if we group this, it should be like that. That's now 1. Let's remove the padding, like so. Now this is one element, right? We'll add this to the right side of this one here. This nested group. So we will go into add this one over here. Right here. But let's group this first so we can put it inside. Now we need to make it align horizontally, like so. Then we need to have the contents and make sure that the team also have its contents and its children too, like so. Right. And then we need to make it so like that. Fill the space. And now we need this one, this group, to be a grid. Like so. So it is much more balanced. And then for the elements here, we can fill the width, like so. And then for the team name, where's this? This one. This for the team. This one. For the team here, we can add a padding that is parent, just so it has more space to the left, and make the, let's check the implementation of material design. There is this one here, a center column, and other examples here that we can reference. No. Alright. For now, let's leave it at that. We'll come back to refining this one here. Oh, we could also add our own border for this one. We can fill the width and the height like so, and then add a stroke outline like so, and then add our own corner radius like so. Now it has more visible distinction. We could also add more padding inside, for instance to the left and top, or both sides. Now we have that, right? I am thinking that inside here we can add the more button. Let's add that button. We need the icon, this one. Let's change it to the more, this one here, and then place it beside the name here. Like so. Oops. You need to put it inside here. Like so. Then we increase the gap here. Also no, wait, I'm editing the wrong one. Here, make it fill and the gap photo like so. We could also then reduce the padding on the right side, right here. We can reduce it by 8. Let's make it 16 like so, and then make the top here yeah, I think that's that. We could just make the padding on the top here much less, 16, just so it feels much more at the top, just like that. So as you can see, it is much more fuller. It has more flesh to it compared to the implementation before. As you can see, let me just delete this. Above here, it looks very empty. There's a lot of white space that we haven't utilized. There are also action buttons here, right? We have to add and join team, and we also have the add member, remove member, and leave team. I'm thinking that we could add it at the top here beside the notification icons, and we will just remove it after. Yeah, we could do that. Let's get this, or we could just implement this ourselves. let's get an icon button. Icon button there. And then alright, put the add theme, right? Add theme. We could also replace, no, create our own another header at the top. Yeah, let's do that for now. The join theme has the then add and join theme. Okay, let's write the add theme here. Add theme, this, add, like so. And then also the join. Them, remove the gap, hug the elements. Why is there a, what's this? Let's refresh. Alright, we could add a bit of gap, like 2 for instance, and then place it here at the top, like so. We could, yeah, let's put it at the right side. Okay, we could also make it a much bigger button, like add theme and join. Where this one? Let's try it. Button. Let's find the one with the icon. Button. Label. This one. Like so. Add theme. Join theme, just so it is much easier to understand what the buttons do. Group, add, like so. We could make this on surface. surface variant, and then we can group this, add a gap, and then replace the one we just had before. Oops. We actually make this a component. Name it team function buttons. Place it at the top. Like so. Now we have this, right? And we are going to replace these two here inside there. Let's grab that, put it inside, delete two buttons, like so. I think that's much more easier to understand than just the button alone. Now we just have to repeat it. To this part here. Right. Like so. Now we have that. Alright. Let's do the same for the bottom part. Put it inside this one, and then we're also gonna create the one for the team name here. Or no, I think we can just plug it inside this more button here. It can do a lot of things. Let's leave it at that. Next is we are going to replicate this part here, this whole section. Just copy it, and inside here, project frame, inside there, we're gonna paste that, delete this one, and now we have that. That looks much better compared to the ones here. To separate two, we could also improve the screen here, but this is how it looks now. Much more presentable. Now for the 1280 screen, just going to expand it like so, and it could just be like that, right? This is 1024. Like that. So now we will also make the theme appear on this tablet. This one here, and we're going to place it inside here. Delete this one. Wrong placement. Place it inside here. I lost the data. Put it inside like so. Delete all these frames here, just like that. Yeah, you could also remove the outline here. Or not. Let's just have that like that so that they are used to it once they move to this screen here. For the collapse one, let's have the same. Place it inside, delete this one. Now we have that. Alright, now we have the themes, we have the projects here. Delete this. And then projects, the themes. Now we need the project detail and the to-dos. But before that, let's update the screen here, the two screens here. We grab the theme card, this one, and then copy, add a theme card there, delete the old ones, make it fill. Now this needs to be let's just make it a more button like so. More. Just like that. Now we can copy that, duplicate it, just like that. Now add this one here, and the theme name remains the same. Alright. Let's remove that since it's already fixed. Next is the project details and the task list. Right. Okay. We have this one here for project details. Gonna select the dashboard again. Selected. select this one, the team dashboard. Now we're gonna show the project details. You could just utilize the ones here. This is project detail. Copy this one and paste it here. We could plug this entire component inside here. And then remove, or no, we could place it like so. Remove the old one and expand this to fill the container like so. Just have to remove the padding so it isn't duplicated, and also right in this one we could remove the stroke for this and remove the padding as well. Like so. Maybe not. Let's just leave it like that. For this part here, we have this. I think we could make the spacing here much less. 24. Just like that. And then we have a collapse one here. This is project detail. Project detail. We'll copy the same, place it inside here, remove the old one, just like that. Now this, well, I guess this is still bearable, but let's add another pane on the right side here. Let's grab the task here. Like so. And then have it here. We are going to make this frame here, excuse me, a grid. So we put this inside like so, and we make it a grid with 2 spaces like that. Just need to make sure that this fills both space, and we are now going, no, let's give it like that. When the user clicks on the taskbar, then it becomes collapsed. Grid here that there. That looks much better. You could also remove this one here, the add task and the alright, you can remove that, and this one as well, the back button. It's no longer needed. This one, back button, remove. Make it like so. Or let me check the mobile first. Have the add tasks and more. So I'll just leave this more button here, and then we are going to fill this space and then remove our paddings like so, just to align these two here. Or you could also move this button inside of this header here, beside the title. Let me insert that, and then group the button. Alright, this is locked, so we're going to unlock, place it inside, group the two together, make it side by side, put it last, auto, like that, then center, like so. Now we can remove this top one and have it like that. Let's just remove this one here. I think it's much better to align these two here. I just have to reduce the gap like so. The gap here is 24, here is 24 as well. The top is 48. This top here, 48 as well. I think this is now centered, right? So next is I am going to put the outline here. Like so, and add some padding, just like that. And then we'll have the hide hug contents, like so. Why is this? Alright, we added the top and bottom, just like that. Then we'll make this round. No, add some pages. Where is this one? I need to copy the exact. This is small. Okay, now we have this what is this? Because of the 16 padding. Okay, let's make this fill container, this one too, just like that. This looks a bit cramped, so this one here in the grid, we're gonna add some space in between, just like that. So we have both. The top here, I am thinking of moving it at the top, like so, so that, wait a minute, I'm gonna remove this frame. The leave button is like that. No, I think it's just the same, like so. Yeah, nothing really changed, but let's have that for now. And then this one here could be vertical, and then have this fill the container, and then this one's just fill as well, like so. And then this card here could also fill. I need to break the link there. Make this fill. Let's find a good number. Divisible by 8. The range is 140. Let's just 136 here. Like so. We just have to repeat this. Make it a component. Let's copy it first. Oh, wait. Actually, we didn't have to break the link. No, we have to do what we just did. But before that, we need to make these two pair up. So this one. So now we have a master here. Bring it to the top. Just like so. And then we're gonna repeat it like so. Dashboards. But I think it's too big. So let's delete that. Let's go back to this one's here. Let's copy one there. Is it inside? Then let's wait. Yeah, let's delete those. Make two of those. Now we are going to make it a grid. Like so. This is lacking though. We need this too. Just like that. Like so. And we can do the same here. Let's make this first fill and make this fill as well, but it is cut. Alright, this should fill as well as this. This one should fill the container. But it wouldn't fit. So I can't break the constraints here. Let's make it just fit the container as well as the height, and we can remove these things. Let's try duplicating first. This one here should fill the space, but it is overlapping. Oh, these boxes are respecting the constraints. There you go. We duplicate that. Now it's fixed. Oh, it's not fixed. Why is this? Oh, it's just the clip here, right? Okay, we have that. We this and make it let's just have it here. It's too far. And replace this as well. Duplicate. Okay. In progress. Now we have that. We could adjust the gap vertically, like so, and also the vertical gap and horizontal one. Why is this forcing? Oh, this one here needs to fill, and that. So if we delete those, put those again, it behaves the way we expect it to be. Now we have that. Next is the task title here. This review list here should behave somewhat the same. I think we could have this task details here to also be shown individually instead of pushing it here. Excuse me. So you can do that. Let's create a copy for now, and then move this, make this 1. Now let's skip those, and then let's apply the same to the review list here. But I think the boards here could, no, let's have it like that. When you click on a category, this should pull up the list of tasks within that. Where is it? We need to, if you click this, you should see that list here. So instead of this, let's make a list. I'll be right back. I'm back. Alright. We are going to make the review list here much thinner. Just like the one we have for the theme here. We'll do the same for the review. So let me grab a copy here. And then change the icon. This one here. Reviews. Like so. Reviews icon. And then we're gonna change this icon here. Change it to reviews, and then review name, where this will have a status, right? So we can grab a status here. Yeah, let's grab that and place it inside here. Like so. Oh, we can change it because it's locked. So we're gonna unlock that. Place it inside here, just like so. And then we are going to group these two here and make this vertical, just like that. Now you have the status, and then to make it align, put the frame there and adjust the padding as well. 12. Alright. After that, let's have this fill container so that it's centered. Alright, I think that's good enough. We are just going to make it a component and make it a review card. We're going to replace these things here, just like so. Remove these elements and replace that. Now we have this, fill the container. This also needs to fill. This is auto. What is causing this? There are other elements. No. why is this one fill. So could make the review box here fill, and then this one could be place this at the bottom, or just make it a more button, right? Let's make it that more, just like so. Hide it. Then snow auto, make the padding tighter. Okay, we have that. Could also put this at the top, just like that, right? Make this smaller, medium, just like that. This is medium. I think that's fine. Let's put, oops, it should be vertical. Here, why, yes, just like that. We need to expand this one here so you can see the bottom, and then as we can see here, to add a bottom padding. So let's do that. Let's have a 0.16, like so. Now we have that. We're locking the activity feed, the project itself. So, there's more. Make the this filling up. The activity feed is at the bottom. This frame is this. It's hung, but this occupying. So this is a grid, right? It's limited to 4 for now, just like so. We need to do this, and then this one too. Why is this? Oh, so this is not hugging its content. This one should fill just like so. I think that's fine, although it's a bit too tight. And also, this isn't what we are supposed to do. We are going to add the task list from these categories that we have in the task board. So we could still use this one here, but we're going to replace it with a task. This one here, assignment. Assignment icon. Paste it. Excuse me. Assignment icon. Make this surface variant. Now we're gonna replace this to be surface. Oh no, assignment icon. We're also going to add a gap here too, just like so. Right, so this becomes task name, just like that. Right, so we are going to replace this screen here. Get a copy of that. Going to delete it. Let's delete this part here, like so. Add this, that, and then create a what do you call this, frame, and then we're going to add this one, the more button. More, and hide this one here. this is going to repeat like that. Now I am thinking that this here, as you see, where we have two panes, right? I'm thinking that this should be separated, like this should be two divisions of the background. So I'll have this to be surface container lowest, as well as this one here. And then you have the padding there, right? So this here would now remove its padding as well as its background. So we have that. This here we need to remove its stroke and add a border radius like so. Just like that. Now we can make this the same here, and it is now more visually distinct. We now have a clear division of what is on the left and what is on the right. We just need to apply the same thing here in the bottom. Remove the padding. Wait, we could also just copy this one here, put it inside, and delete the old one. Now we have that. Awesome. We're gonna do the same for this. Delete the old one. This as well. Delete the old one. Now we have that. Alright. I think that's much more clearer. And then we could remove the outline here as well. Add the stroke and the paddings here. Yeah. No. This also needs to be the same. So just like so. Alright. Now we need to apply the same thing here. So we are going to remove the fill as well as the padding. Now this one here should have its own padding. Let's make it 8. No. Make it 16. And this as well. This needs to have its own background. lowest, and then small for the corner, and let's make this gap here smaller. This one should have 16 padding on both sides. Yeah, I think that's that. Add a radius here, just like that. So when you click on a category inside the taskboard, it will show the list of items inside it. Now I am thinking to make it more clear is to add a title at the top. We'll grab our section header, this one here, paste it inside, and make it the name of the category, just like that. So now we have the project title with a to-do. Next is when you click on the task name, it will then show the same as this one here. But before that, let's create a screen size. Just like that. This isn't balanced here. Let's fix that. Should be 1 FR, like so. And then is the 1024, right? Create a 1280 version of this. Like so. I think this one here should be eliminated. I mean, it should be the same as the one in the right? Because there's now more room. So what is happening here? Okay. No. We need this body here. The whole frame. This one. We need to add it here. Delete the old one. Now we have that. I think that's much better, because then it wouldn't be too stretched, right? The same as here. Let's copy this one Do the same here. Going to delete this, and now we have that. Just like so. We can then proceed to task details. So I'll copy this since it's roughly the same with some changes. We're gonna have that. Copy the task details there, or right, let's just copy it. We're going to place it inside, then delete this like so, then expand it, fill the container, and then there's two here. We have now that one. This here could expand just like that. Now we have this. Next is the same as this one, but just for the task. Task details. And this one is task details. Task details. Alright. Now we're going to change this right side. Copy that and replace here. Like so. And put this on top, on the right, on the left, and then we're gonna remove the padding just like that. Now when you click on the wait no, there should only be one screen because there's nothing else to show, right? When you click the review, you are then inside the review. So the right side should show the review, right? If you click the review, then the right side should show the review. Alright, where's the review? design for it. Here we have one. Oh no, this is another implementation. So let's create the review UI here. It should be roughly the same. So let's use this one and have the badge here. Let's check how our review looks like. Here we have the title, status, the submitted, who let's place it inside this card, and then let's remove the progress. Change this to submitted by reviewer. Submitter name, reviewer name. Now this here should be a grid. To do that, let's pull this up. Where is it? This one here. Let's pull it inside the frame and make this frame a grid, just like so. Now we're gonna adjust this caps here. That's that. Next is the resources. Resources, add a list of links using this card. I just have to remove some elements. And then change the icon here. Rel link. Why is this? Oh, I see. What's the name of this? Public. Where is it? It's here. Change the icon to public icon. Oh no, this needs to be the link icon. I don't have it here. Let's get the link. This one here. Here's the world. Let's use the world to be more consistent. Let's have that. This is the link name, which we are going to link card. Way to put in the resources. Button. Let's place this in sec. Delete the button. Create the container. Add those there. Now this should be 8. 16 gap for these two here, like so, and then we can remove this. We should instead, because we need to add the messages, right, the comments, discussions. So instead, we could have a card or a button that says view comments, which will then show this is the task details, right? We would need a button to show the comments. So let's create that. Button. Show comments. Let's have a message icon. Comment icon. Oh, the chat here. Chat icon. Chat bubble icon. Change the icon here. Already has one here. Should be rounded. Yes, that's fine. Let's place it there. It outside like that. Make it fill as well as this one. Content should be filled like that. then going to comments, and we're going then to place the approve and reject button, which the manager has access to. So for that, we'll have this accept, not accept, it's approve, and reject. This should have the check. I think material has already have it. Check. And this is remove, cancel, exit. It's close. Okay. This should be green. Oh, this here. Where is the state container fill? Let's have this green. Never mind. Let's make this error instead. Like so. Then we'll group those. Put it at the bottom, like that. Next is we're going to make this suck. This too. And then the comments here could be, where's that? This could then be what other buttons do we have here? Just use this one here. Show comments, and then chat bubble. Replace this one. Delete this. Put this at the top. Fill. Fine. We now need to create the the chat. Let me first remove this. Then let's create the chat here. This should be should contain this one here, the discussions. So let's make the review names comments, or just comments or discussion. We're going to remove this one. Card as well. Let's first create a chat. Right, so we have a button, an icon button. Where is it? Here. We'll make this user, avatar, profile, user. We don't have a icon for that. Let's get one. User account circle. I think no, never mind. So we have an account circle here. Make it one variant. Component that says account circle icon. Then we can have this account. There you go. All right. After that, we need to have the chat. The chat box should be like this. Let's simplify it and make it container lowest. Low, and then have to give it radius of extra small and a outline. Just like that. I think that's fine. Have those two there. This is essentially pushing it to the top, and just like that, we'll have a chat bubble. That's the bubble chat box. We also need the invert of this, so like that. Now if we merge this, we now have a chat, right? Let's have two of those. 16, just like that. Then we're going to place it. Wait, right. Let's place it inside here, just like that. We remove this. Let's make a input. This here, and the send icon. Send icon. Make it a surface variant. Surface variant. Then we'll have the button. This one here. That's send. Then we link those. This should be 16. And place it here, and we remove those. Then we can just add a border at the top, stroke, outline, one part should have a space, just like that. Then it should be I think that's fine now. This and this should have a gap like that, but the bottom should be pushed downward. Now, if we assemble this, since we already have this, we can then let's change these to review details. This to discussion details. Then make it expanded first. Well, show the review. This one here. Insert. Remove this. Now this one here should occupy the width and the height. This should remove its own padding. This should not have any stroke, and remove the padding as well. Now that's that, and these two here should expand just like that. Click on the show comments. Excuse me. You'll see these chat messages. So let's get this and replace it, as well as this here to replace let's replace this frame. Make it remove the padding as well as the outline, and then that's that. This should have a, why is this extending? Which element Oh, the grid, right? Should be just that. Yeah, I think that's much better. I now have that. Let's make this fill the whole width. Just like that. Now let's add the larger screen sizes for this 1024. Wait, this yeah, let's make it slide to the left and right horizontally. Then the 1280. Also, this here should be 16 or 24. As well. This too. Now we have the task, projects, the dashboard, teams. Now the review. Let's rename this. Wait. Let's rename this to review details. This one as well. And then create the screen versions, the big ones. And 1280. I think in the 1280 and 1024, we'll have to maintain the two paints because it's too stretched, just like the two here. So I'll make this accept to like that, or you just copy this and replace it like so. Do the same for this one here. And just delete the old one. And that's much better. We'll do the same with the review. Excuse me. Add it here. Just like that. We'll do the same for this one. There you go. Now, oh, it's not centered. So we need to fill that this as well. The elements here should fill just like that. This one too. Text field should fill just like that. I'll do the same for this. Then the links here are not does not occupy the full width, so make it do so. Same here. Here as well. Expand this as well as this, or we could just copy this hole here and replace it. Let's do the same for this. We copied the wrong thing. Copy that. Place it inside here. Hit it. Right. Shouldn't be the case though. Oh, so this is the old one. Now we have that. Let's do the same for this. All right. So we now have a project part, the project dashboard, then the team dashboard, and then we have the project details with a task list, and then we have the task details with the review. There should be review here. I think we could remove this entirely, but let's make it a button. Show reviews, just like this one, because I need a reason to utilize this two panes layout, because otherwise it would stretch to the entire screen and it would not look great. So let's place that here, remove those, make this fill, and we have that. I could also just remove that and say show review list. That would then show the list on the right side. Let's have an icon for that. the icon here. List icon. This. Also, we need this to be on surface variant. And then here, make this primary. That way, when you click the show review list, you will then see the reviews here. Let me copy this, paste it, remove this, make this one to the left. Now we have that, and now this would be review name. We need a icon for that. Review. We already have one. Let's make this review. And then I created a review card, but I don't see where I am using it. Anyway, let's remove these elements, replace it with this one. That's that. Next is, we'll do the same to the bottom. I'll copy that. I'll copy this. Copy this, place it here, there's the old one. It didn't do the operation we wanted. Oh, I see. We copied the wrong thing. Remove this. Paste that inside. is happening to this? Right. Let's copy this one here. And then for this one, let's paste and then delete this one. That should fix it. Next, we'll do the same. Excuse me. And here as well. This one. Delete the old one. And that's that. Yeah. All right. So I think now we have covered most of the UI refinements that we need. So I think it's time now to explain how this will be implemented and how we are going to revise the current route architecture as well as the assumptions that was embedded in code. So let me show a plan board. So currently TaskGate has this assumption regarding routes. So we have a route here. We have a route. Another route. And another route. Now each route that we have has its own component as well. Just like so. This is the current route architecture for TaskGate. Now, this can be seen in the current implementation. As you can see here, as you observe the routes, as it changes, the screen also changes, right? Just like that. However, with this current implementation, it is not viable to implement the multi-pane layout. So we want now to have a multi-pane layout in a single view. So to solve this, we have a route, right? And each route say routes is that this here we have a project, then we have a project ID, then we have a task, then we have a task ID. Currently, if we have a project and a project ID, let me make another copy here. If we have a project ID, that is one component, right? And then we have a task and task ID. That is another component. As you can see here, let me show the screen. Notice at the top, at the link bar, we have a project, right? That's a component. When you enter a project, that's another component. When you enter a task, that's another component. Notice that the routes here changes as you move, and each route has a component that it renders. So now, to be able to make the multi-pane layout implementable, we now need to treat the route as a state handler. So instead of having a component for each route, we will now have a layout shell. This layout shell is responsible for reading the routes. After that, conditions, multiple conditions are within this the layout shell will then hold the information needed for each condition layout shell. For instance, if this is for mobile and this is for tablet and above. So for that, the implementation for the mobile will stay as if each route presents only one component. So this would look like if project ID, show a component, if condition, let's say just condition, if condition component. Now this here will now act as if it's the same as this one. Each route will then present one component at a time, one screen at a time. Excuse me. Now for this tablet and above, the mechanism is a bit different. So let me show what I mean. In here, right, for the mobile layout, we have one screen at a time, right? One screen. But now with this implementation, if we have multiple panes here, we would then render a shell, this here, and then the screens inside excuse me, the screens inside will then be these panes. So we have now this one. We have a shell. This is the shell layout. And we have a dedicated components screen for each so that will be what happens. So we have here a condition shell layout with a component screen. Let me connect those. And for this, we have this if condition, we have this we now have that, because as you notice, we have a layout as well. Oh, it's clashing. We have a layout as well that only occupies one or there is only one screen on the shell. So, which is why we have the if condition here. That will solve this problem. Alright. So, I think that would be all for today, for this stream. I will be implementing these ideas, this plan on the next stream. So we did research the material layout, refine and apply the ideas to TaskGate. We also did reuse the existing components to utilize the empty spaces as we implemented the multi-pane layout, the master detail layout, and then we also briefly discussed how this design will affect the architecture of the routing and the view philosophy for TaskGate. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. You've learned some things. If you have feedback, if you have comments, suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. And you can also join my Discord community, which I have a link here at the bottom left corner of the screen, and also at the description below. So that is all for this live stream, and thank you everyone. See you next